Hello, my name is Luke Borman. This is one of my final classes in my senior year at Walsh University. This paper for building a leadership brand was a little hard, and it took a lot of time to figure out what's my personalities and how do I react to this, how do I react to that, and I just feel like building a brand for my business and leadership self was very crucial if I want to be in the business world. Finding the right brain and identifying personal strengths and weaknesses are most important in the first steps of this process. Being a leader in this world can be very difficult. There are many people with a wide variety of backgrounds who impact leaders by judging what their actions and reactions of the individuals who solely purpose assessing the leader's strengths and weaknesses. It sees how tough you are. I've been in different spots where people have been fired because they're not how they react to the different situations, and it's hard for them. And I'm attempting to create a right brand of leadership for me, especially since I graduate college here in 8 to 9 weeks, and I plan to look in depth in myself and establish what I can do that can help create myself more valuable and show how great a leader I am. I will create the best brand for me and how it may impact my coworkers and those eventually working close to me. Some of the first leadership theories that the paper goes through is the contingency theory. This theory argues not there's no single way of leading, and every leadership style should be based on a certain situation. I believe this. In each different situation, if you're working at Loot Corporation or you're working at Bueller Foods, there's different situations that will come up where you have to find out what type of situation it is and how to approach it. You're working with many different personalities, and it can be very difficult. The contingency theory says that there are certain ways people perform at maximal levels in a certain place, but the minimum performance is removed at their element. This theory contends that there's no way best of leading. Leaders tend to have good relationships, which are matched to a poor environment. The next one is the path goal leadership. This is one of my favorite leadership styles and theories. I believe putting people on the right path of succeeding is very important. This requires that support and motivation for the workers, and this theory being directive, supportive, and having a clear path is what is needed. Defining goals and providing support for the employees is what is the most important. Another key aspect of path goal is eliminating anything that could stop the employee from making their goals. So eliminate the little stuff and maybe build them up with how they do well in different types of environments. And this is very key because if you can build your employee up, he's going to do good results and it's going to help the organization in many different ways. The trait theory. The trait theory believes that people are either born or made with certain qualities, which I don't. I have mixed reaction with this. Some of the traits that are included in the series being decisive, dependable, persistent, and intolerant of stress. Which, if you can't tolerate stress, it's going to be very hard to be able to lead many different businesses. Skills are usually being a great leader, which can somehow be able to turn something into bad from good or the opposite. And sometimes this can be hard for a lot of employees that see that how people look at the negative stuff and they don't. A lot of people get brought up into different type of leadership, and having a leadership style that can grab someone's attention is what is important. And interpersonal skills can be very crucial to communicate and encourage others without harmful, threatening strategies. Another important aspect of trait theory is it is to understand a wide variety of different types of people. And I just, in my own opinion, I think it's best that you see that you have experiences and you learn from those experiences, and it will truly help you in the long run. The next part is the participative leadership. This requires the leader to need to be involved in one or more employee to determine what the work needs to be completed. In this leadership style, focus on mutual participation is most significant. Before making any decisions, the leader and employees must gather the knowledge of the job to be done and consult with the group and discuss and consider ideas and options available. If they don't, just go right at it and don't know the whole aspect of what's going on, it's going to be hard for them to figure out to change the stuff and make everything work. Promoting the employee involvement is the main concept of this leadership. The scale ranges from not being participant or to highly participative, and this is a very important and comfortable area. All right, after participant behavior, we have the behavior theories. This focuses on the leader's behavior. This is when the leaders are made versus inborn behavior. The successful leadership can be based on definable and learnable behavior. This theory evaluates what the leader is essentially to do. The behavior theory is the complete opposite of the trait theory. This demonstrates that it can be a leadership development, and rather than doing a psychometric assessment, behavioral theory can be easy to develop and simple assess both leadership success and actions of the leader. Seeing people behave it's hard to understand them at why they do this, why do they do that, and trying to understand that is this going to help your leadership style. So after those 5 leadership theories, it made me really think of what am I going to be about? What am I going to be able to do? Individuals display leadership brand, which is their primary focus on. They're trying to find out the right leadership can be very difficult. There's a quite variety of ways in which a leadership brand conveys and identify distinctiveness as a leader. Having a strong personal leadership brand conveys a sense of powerness and effectiveness. If you don't have that powerness, people aren't going to really understand, hey, this guy can do this. Hey, this guy can do that. Or, no, he's going to be over here. He can only do this. And you want the maximal value from you, your employees, and most important, your organization. The first thing that I need to do is determine the results I want to achieve in the next year. Customers are the number one priority. If you don't have customers, you're not going to have a business. And identifying the customers who see value from their goods and as well as services we provide is extremely important. Finding ways to make the customer happy will only make the rest of your job easy to navigate. The next step is to understand what the investors are and who they are, and how they can meet the team goals of making money for the company and striving and being a better organization, growing each and year out. And the investors have your back, but you got to have their back also. And it's very important to each of the steps of the employees and the investors and and yourself that you can see that a lot of people are involved in a business, and to make a business great, you have to have great leadership. After that like I said, with employees, do you care about them? Do you want to see them grow? Do you want to see everything in a working day of how each step that they do is important? And you got to be able to figure out, hey, I'm going to come here. I'm going to lead this guy to a better place today than it was tomorrow, and that's the thing that's going to help me in this leadership brand that I'm creating. How can I help them with the team executive on his objective, which involves the customer, investor, and employees? So the organization is what is. So you have your customers, you have your investors, and you have your employees, which leads into the organization. Bringing everyone together and figuring out a way to lead them, it can be difficult, but finding out my personality and how I can relate to others is very, very important. The next step is deciding what type of leadership style I want to convey to the employees, investors, and customers. I want to impact people as much as they just see a name. Hey, he's Luke. He does whatever he wants. I want to say, hey, yeah, he's the guy that I want to be on. I want to take it for the team, and I want to be the guy that has a variety of leadership aspects. I like to show people how to lead and create accomplished employees. Finding our attributes which have developed me in a person that I am today can be very difficult. There are many different leadership brands and names that could be attached to my personality. I grew up as a big sports guy, and people thought I was a jock my whole high school career, and which I didn't want to see that as me. And I wanted to, as a leader, a guy that can help anybody that's in a problem, or hey, give me this, and I will turn into something a lot better. And just there's a lot of diamonds in the rough, and I want to be one of those that can shine. I'm very helpful, polite, trustworthy, and much more. Finding a way to unite some of these terms is very special. Being known as a certain identity is crucial for being a leader anywhere I am needed. The words that best describe me as a leader is being independent, logical, innovative, compassionate, and insightful. These are so crucially, I don't know, they're being, and they've always been a part of me my whole life. Now, defining my distinctiveness into 6 words or 2 word phrases that can frict my preferred identity is important. This encouraged me to look deeper into myself and more depth to what the unique phase of my personality. The attributes which I identified with are independently innovative, logically humbled, insightfully compassionate. These are the 3 terms defining my leadership style to pay homage to my leadership abilities. From day one, I've always been innovative in a variety of ways in which my life has been involved. I've always been humbled. My parents have always told me to be humbled of everything that you're a part of. And I enjoy talking to people from different walks of life and being able to, steer them in the right direction. It's very important. The next, I need to consult my leadership brand statement and test it. This this step brings everything together and allows me to be known for what Luke Borman is. And my leadership brand statement is I want to be known for being independently innovative, logically humbled, and insightfully compassionate to allow me to carry superior financial outcomes to my business. So now that I have a statement, I need to ask myself some questions to test my brand. After constructing my leadership brand and testing it, I need to figure out some questions to ask myself. So, first question I need to ask myself is this brand identity that best represents who I am and what I can do? I believe it does, because it shows how compassionate self to do anything, and I can take anything negative and turn it into positive, and I've always been known for that. Next question is this brand identity something that creates value in my eyes and the organization of the key stakeholders? I believe it creates value. My dad was always brought out to me to make yourself valuable as you can. So when you're going through a job, showing how much value you show throughout that job is going to help you in another job. If you get laid off, being as valuable as possible is such a crucial thing in this world. Many people get so down on when something bad happens, and just being able to rely on yourself and showing that you can do anything that you always been taught, and showing experiences that have made you become who you are is so important. And this will only help me in the future, but also helps everybody in the eyes around me. Can I live up to this brand? When creating this brand, it's what's molded me. I've always had a chance to lead, but sometimes I think I've been down on that. And I excuse me, I've been down on that, and I just wish I was able in high school. I wish I was able to lead more than I did. Yes, I can live up to this brand. After going through many different exercises, I believe I have the leadership brand that can test against anything that stands in my way. The next step is making this brand a real identity. Is the next true step. Promoting my leadership brand to everyone I meet allows me to show what molded me. I can feel the change outlook of many people throughout the organization. I want to be known as evolving as a leader, as a great person, and I want to be able to help people that don't always they always steer away from help, and I want to change that for them. I look forward to viewing feedback and working collaboratively with different people. My brand should evolve without being static. It should be an answer to change opportunities I will face in my career. I've been only working for 5 years now because I'm 22 years old, and I've learned so much in these past 4.5 years at Walsh University, and I just can't wait to see where my life takes me after this. So connecting my brand to the theories that I stated before. The first one is the contingency theory. This theory argues that there's not a single way of leading. In my brand, the contingency theory goes along with it because I know that different situations will arise, and there's different ways in which you can approach these. Approach the ways in which people see you, and different activities that can help change everything, not just sticking to one thing and always doing that. Expanding the horizon is what is key, and it can help people succeed. The path goal. This is, like I said, one of my favorite theories. This leadership style promotes wanting my people to achieve their goals. Helping people reach their goals is very important, and I think my leadership brand helps me do that in a compassion, and it's very insightful. The trait theory. This theory believes that people are either born or made. I don't imagine the trait theory interlocks with my theory because I believe that people are built into great leaders, from experience. You're not going to have a CEO from, tech company going to a food company and expect to lead. He's going to have to learn the company. He's going to build on the experiences before he can go all out with that leadership. I believe people are built to be, great, but sometimes you're going to have to learn from experiences, and that is what is key. Alrighty, after the trait theory, we have the participative leadership style. This requires the leader to be involved and with one or more, employees, and this leadership style is 100% of the time into my brand. If I not elaborate as a leader, I won't be considered as a leader. So getting people involved and showing that I can lead them to the right direction is what's important. In my leadership brand, that is essential. Being active is such a thing in the past. I believe not many people want to be active anymore, and I think we need to get that in the business where the people, striving to be great, and instead of just dealing with the consequences and moving on. Behavior theories, which is the last one, is focused on leaders' behavior. In my opinion, leader is made for experiences and help them from others. If he or she learns the concept of the business, they'll make them a great leader. But if you can't, like I said before, you can't just go into a business and expect great results when you first get there. You're going to have to learn and learn everybody's behaviors, and this is what it's all about. And I believe from my experience and lessons where I've been born to become, is that this theory goes right in my leadership theory, and it goes hand in hand. So next thing is connecting this brand to the mission. I've never been a Catholic at all. I've always been a Christian. I've always been a Church of Christ, and with Walsh University, I know that they're a Catholic university, and I just don't. I have my ways of being a Christianity, but they each go in hand in hand. Our church stresses to go out and lead day in and day out, and it is important to connect people to God, and people who don't know Him, and that's what Walsh University is about, just to get everyone believing that there is a guy that you can always go to, and that is so important. And in my leadership brand, being independently innovative, logically humbled, insightfully compassionate goes into the Walsh mission statement. Living out this mission of Walsh and becoming a leader is so important in the future. When I graduate here in 9 weeks, I want to live out the mission statement Walsh has provided with a leadership brand that I've created from this exercise. Going into this class, I didn't know what to expect, and after 8 weeks, I'm a new person. I've already used some of these theories in my own work in the office where I work now, and people have shown that, with me going to school, has this created myself more valuable for the future. And with Walsh's Bride, a leadership brand that I've created from this exercise, and I cannot wait to see what this brand takes me, and living in the Spirit of God. It will help me and help my neighbors, and most importantly, show a good rep for Walsh University. And I believe their mission statement into my leadership style goes hand in hand, and just being humble is so important. So creating this leadership brand for me has been so important. One of the most important things I've done in college. I've learned so many different styles and skills from my 4.5 years in college, and but learning how to lead in the right direction is one important. Many people go to college for a degree. Well, it's what is what do you do after you get that degree is what's important. And being myself is being independently innovated, logically humbled, and insightfully compassionate. And I'm sure you see through this video, I'm very compassionate about myself, and I hope this paper will bring light to me and help me lead in the future. And if I put my mind to it, I can do anything in life. So once again, my name is Luke Borman, and thank you for seeing my video. And I can't wait to graduate here in about 9 weeks. So thanks at all for this class, and go Walsh University.